Alright, so we live.
Oh, all right.
Alright,
There
so
first live video.
first live video for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shoot, there ain't probably gonna be nobody on right now.
Yeah,
It's like middle of the night. Anyways, this is Bro Road Trucker on my channel. This is Terry, the Teddy Bear Trucker.
Hey, how you doing? Greetings.
He is working for Landstar, and I wanted to do an interview with him, and because I get a question a lot. Everybody asks, probably you get asked a lot about how is Landstar treating you. Oh. And Landstar is like one of the biggest owner-operator companies out there. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about it, and we'll see how that goes.
All right.
So I'm gonna move this out here. It says very back. Let's see. All right.
Technology.
Yeah. Man, is that? There we go.
Okay.
All right. So, just give me a second to share this out.
All right.
You see the unlock that?
No, just swing. Yeah,
okay. Alrighty. So Terry, tell me about yourself.
A little about the Teddy Bear Trucker. Well, as you guys know, I am an Army veteran. I served in Iraq in 2008. No, excuse me. 2004. Man, see, I'm getting older. My memory's not as good anymore. I served in the Army from 2004 to 2007. I was in Iraq in 2005. Camp Taji, stationed as a supply specialist 2H unit. And that's where I first got inspired by the transportation bug, I would say, because we kept seeing all these trucks that I was supplying parts to rolling out, coming back on missions and whatnot. But honestly, my beginnings in the transportation industry started pretty humble. I was at the time I had just ETS out of the Army, but I was working as a private government contractor out McGregor Air Force Base out in at the El Paso, New Mexico area. And I was making pretty decent money as a government contractor, but I wasn't making as much as I wanted to. So ended up taking a part-time job driving for Domino's Pizza, of all people, delivering pizzas. And after the first week of doing that, and just being out on the road and not having supervisors or sitting at the only thing I want to do for a living.
Right.
So at the time, because I was a combat veteran, the state of Texas sponsored me to get my CDL. So it cost me nothing out of pocket. I just had to attend the courses. And that's how I got my start in the trucking industry. My first trucking job was Mesilla Valley Transportation out of El Paso, Texas. And did that for about 5 months. And at the time, toward the end of the 5th month, the pay started to decrease for whatever reason. It was my first time in the industry, so I wasn't familiar with how freight moves and the waves and stuff. So I just realized I wasn't making as much money as I did when I first started. So I think I just changed companies. Went to Covenant and drove for them for about 2 to 3 months before I got my first citation for being. It wasn't a U-turn, but because that's the way it was cited, I lost my job over it. And because I was so new to trucking, I wasn't able to get hired to another company until 2016 when I was hired on the Schneider. So in the meantime, I drove straight trucks and shuttle buses for the government at that time, and just biding my time until I was able to jump back into it.
Okay. So pretty much you said you just got restarted with trucking in January, right? You say?
Well, no, actually I was hired on the Schneider as a company driver in February of 2016. Okay. I became an owner operator in January of this year. Got my first truck. Yeah.
So how long you been driving for Landstar?
Since May.
Since May
of this year. So
okay.
Couple months. Yeah.
Oh, Schneider IC?
Schneider IC. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
how were you liking the Schneider IC?
At the time, I was enjoying it a lot because I had the freedom, was picking my own loads, but didn't realize how much I was missing out on. Schneider, I will always speak highly of Schneider. They're one of the better programs in terms of being your own boss that are out there.
Okay.
But the thing with Schneider is they're so focused on safety that there's a lot of micromanagement in place.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's no room for growth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying you don't feel that way about Landstar?
No, I mean Landstar. Every trucking company now wants safe drivers to be on the road. They want safe equipment. They want to pass deal.
Gotcha.
You know, they're not telling you, oh, you're braking too hard, you're driving too fast, you're turning too fast, stuff like that. They give you the freedom to run your business.
Gotcha.
And as long as you pick up and deliver on time, don't have any accidents, they leave you alone.
Okay. And then and today's date is
it's now the 17th now.
the
We're
17th
past midnight.
of September
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah.
They are offering a
Hey,
percentage.
17.
17. Hey.
Lucky sevens.
Oh wow, 17. Yeah. Okay. So they're offering what percentage to owner operators right now?
Okay, well, at Landstar, they have different percentage packages depending on what kind of trailers you haul. So for a dry van, if you have your own tractor and you're pulling a trailer, you get 65% of the line haul, 100%. But the difference here at Landstar is some of the accessorials are paid at 100%, while others are paid at 65%.
Okay. What is this accessorial? What is that?
Accessory is like a extra charge for like extra duties having to do with the load, such as stop pay, loading and unloading, detention is an accessorial.
Okay.
You know, stuff like that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not making percentage off that either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you expand to the other divisions such as reefer, flatbed, step deck, those percentages start to go up.
Right.
Yeah.
And dry van is obviously the cheapest one
because
in
it's
thing.
the most common.
The most common one.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's the lazy man's trucking. That's what I do. I don't want to work too hard.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And so, tell us, like the first 3 months that you've been doing it, and versus now, and like what have you noticed? And
thanks to you.
Thanks to me.
Give all props to the man
I can't take the credit, man.
Yeah.
You had good credit, so you got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a uphill battle because you know, the thing about it is for new owner operators, we are competing against mega carriers. We're competing against trucking companies that have been established for years. And so nobody wants to give the individual owner operator who's just starting out a chance.
Yep.
You know, they don't want to take the unnecessary risk. So in turn, and what that translates to is higher interest term loans if you can get qualified at all. There's not too many companies out there that are willing to take a risk and fund a startup.
Yes.
And that's the hurdle I was facing. I established my business in November of 2016, but didn't start showing the profit. Technically, my business started in January.
Right.
So January of 18 will be 1 year in business, and most companies require 2 years in business to start funding.
Yep.
You know, so I've been trying.
You pick up the phone, 2 year.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, 2 year. Click.
Yeah. So up until you know, I talked to Hamlet. That's what I was getting. You need to have 2 years in business. You have to have a certain amount of revenue. And they want you to have other trade lines established already.
Yep.
You know, like I'm trying to get my first one now. You know, so that was the biggest hurdle. But in the time that I've been at Landstar, man, I think by my 90-day point, I had already grossed over $40,000 revenue.
Awesome. So complete difference.
Complete difference.
Okay.
Schneider and company. Really, yeah.
This is where I found. You want to put that in there?
Sure.
This is where I found. Get yourself truck paper. They sell trucks. They sell trailers, and there's a bunch of other ads in the back, like of services.
Okay.
Excuse this thing is all ripped up. You know, it fell a couple times. I mean, look, they sell used parts and a bunch of stuff. You know, so That's where I found them, bro.
Okay.
Like you can see it back here. Let's see. I'll look for it. You can keep
I thought I
talking.
saw a page folded over there.
Yeah. So we here. All right, we're still at the fuel tanks, APUs, dump trucks, transmissions. We're gonna start coming soon. All right, trailers. Maybe it's the other one.
I think that was it. This page was folded over.
There we go. Hey, hey.
Yeah.
This is not this is the company, not the same place, but this is what the same. It's Indianapolis, Indiana. We got you got it through what? Burr Ridge, right?
Burr Ridge in Illinois.
And if you have good credit in not 2 years, you can get a trailer, right?
Yeah. Now I had to use my personal credit in conjunction with the business credit app.
So a personal guarantee.
Personal guarantee, yeah, because my business is new. But luckily,
It's better than nothing. Right?
Yeah, I was able to get a trailer.
Okay.
And it's paying dividends already, guys.
It's paying dividends. Okay. Okay. And so, what have you noticed about, hauling your own trailer versus hauling Landstars? You know, have you noticed, like, obviously, Landstar has any old trailers in their fleet, or
Yeah. Difference is the ability to do drop and hooks, but there's not that many drop and hooks at Landstar anyway.
Okay.
So that's the biggest difference. Landstar's equipment ranges from year to year. So and their models are different. They don't have like a standard trailer model.
Mm-hmm.
So with the biggest difference, other than losing that ability to do drop and hooks, is that you know your equipment. You know exactly what you're gonna have.
Right,
you know
right.
exactly how it works. You know where everything is.
So have you ever picked up a broken trailer or anything of that sort?
Yeah, I picked up a trailer that had rusted off feet.
Oh man, no man.
You know, but other than that, for the most part, the trailers are maintained really well.
Okay.
Landstar requires a Landstar DOT inspection, which is a little bit more than a regular DOT inspection.
Okay.
On all trucks and trailers, 20 days. So every 120 days, I have to take a truck, my truck, and whatever trailer that I'm pulling that's due for an inspection.
That's serious business right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if there's anything wrong, it gets fixed. They make sure it gets fixed.
Okay.
If it's their equipment, if it's yours, you're responsible, of course.
What is your for somebody thinking of like Landstar?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the requirements that you find I wouldn't say difficult, but like the age? Age was one of the biggest ones, right? I think you got to be 25 or 23.
No, the only requirement that Landstar requires is 1 year of over-the-road driving experience, minimum 1 year of driving experience, but that has to include winter driving.
Winter driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there is a equipment model age. As long as it can pass a DOT inspection, you can lease it on. As far as I know so far.
Okay.
Their orientation is 2 days at one of their facilities. They don't, of course, they don't pay for orientation, but they 2 days orientation, no road test required because they expect you to know how to drive a truck already. And that's it. Once you get your first trailer assigned or you bring on your own trailer, you're ready to rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you picking your own loads? Or are you being dispatched, or what's the story?
Well, the Landstar has their own load board, so I dispatch myself. The only difference between Landstar's load board and Schneider is Schneider's click and go. You find the load, you want it. Here you have to take an additional step, but there's a benefit to taking that additional step. Once you find the load on the load board that you want to book, you have to call the agent that has that load. And sometimes it's a double broker load, sometimes it's a direct shipper. But once they confirm that the load is still available, they send you a rate confirmation. But the benefit to that is you have the opportunity to negotiate possibly higher rates.
Okay. Or
also change some of the way how the load is paid.
Okay.
Because as I said, you get 65% of the line haul, 100% of the fuel surcharge, and depending on the accessorials, you get 65 or 100%. So depending on how you break it out, you actually can not change the price of the load, but actually end up putting more in your pocket because the way you. But you can't do that if you don't talk to them.
Yeah.
That's one of the.
You said dispatchers sometimes call you with offers.
Yeah. What's good about Landstar's load, and it's similar. Schneider has a similar way of tracking where you're going to be. So at Schneider, you're one of the requirements is like when you think you're going to get to a delivery, you you set what is called the ETA and the NAT. ETA, estimated time of arrival, and NAT, next available time that you'll be free to book a load. Well, once you book a load on a Landstar system, it automatically updates where you're going to be in the date. And the Landstar agents have access to all the trucks in the Landstar's fleet. So they can see, okay, this truck is going to be here on this date.
Right.
And they'll start calling you, hey, I see you're going to be empty here. I got a load that's picking up. You want to take it? And they'll start. Sometimes they call me before I even get the chance to look at the load board.
Because it might sound really good.
Yeah, you gotta, because everything's household movers guy miles. So if you're driving when they're calling you don't get a chance to really map out the actual miles.
Right.
There's a couple of times when I first got started, I screwed myself pretty good. The deadhead,
Okay. So as soon as you pick a load, you need to start looking right away, just in case one of these cats call you trying to sneak one in.
Yeah.
Okay. And
you gotta be careful with that. But once you build a relationship with these agents too, you can get consistent freight and in a way set up your own lanes of operation. Dedicated lanes and stuff like that.
And another question was, I noticed you had Hazmat.
Oh, yes.
Oh, let's talk about that Hazmat.
Hazmat, okay. My initial impression of Hazmat is it's not worth the hassle.
Okay.
When you talk about making, let's say, extra 50, as a company driver, so talk about first from the company driver perspective. Most companies will pay maybe an additional $25 to $50 a load for doing Hazmat. When you take that $50 per load and you weigh it against up to $750,000 in fines or 10 years in prison, there's no way.
It's not a must.
There's no way, and that's the type of risk that you're taking with Hazmat. If you accept a Hazmat load from a shipper, you sign those bills of lading, you seal up the doors, and you roll. That is your responsibility. If there's anything wrong with that load, you are responsible. Now, from an owner-operator standpoint, I said I was not going to do those in order to join them, but you don't have to pull it.
Okay.
However, I believe that the reason they require you to have it is because there are some loads that even though they're non-regulated, they're still Hazmat, so you have to have the training.
Just in case. Right. Because I think like if you ever haul like batteries.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
it's not
right now.
right. Like it's not Hazmat, but it could be Hazmat if it tipped over inside.
Exactly.
I had that happen to me one time.
So you have to be able to. You have to be properly trained in order to deal with those situations. So
has it been
profitable?
Has it been profitable?
It has. And there's another point I want to give you guys about Landstar. Now that I have my own trailer, my viewpoint is that's the only way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
That 7% that I'm getting just for having my own trailer, it racks up really quickly. And then when you toss Hazmat pay on top of that, not only are you getting the Hazmat mileage pay, but you're also getting an additional 7% on that as well.
Okay.
So it all adds up.
All right.
So I'm starting to get used to doing them, even though there's more work involved.
Right.
But it pays.
You gotta go around the city loops.
Yeah.
And
stop every 3 hours and check the securement. Do your Hazmat calls. But if you can deal with that, and this is totally different from a company driver standpoint.
Okay.
If you can, as an owner operator, if you can deal with just a little bit of extra work, it can pay off really well.
Okay.
Hey, bro.
So that's
Oh, Henry.
What's up, Henry? Hey, Henry, how you doing, man? I didn't think anybody was up at this time.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do this way earlier.
Yeah, this is Larry King, late night hours.
All right. So Landstar, okay. So how long do you see yourself being with Landstar?
Honestly, as long as I don't do anything to get terminated from there again,
Okay.
I can see myself maybe not driving the whole time, but having some attachment to Landstar.
Okay.
Whether that be a fleet owner or just
Glad I called you guys. Okay.
or you know, having some company drivers. Eventually, I would like to get my own authority.
Okay.
But even still, I'll probably have some trucks.
Some trucks will. Okay. All right.
And if you authority there, I don't have the details on it yet, but there is a way you can become an authorized.
The trailers, power only or whatever.
Yeah.
If
glad you could make it too, Henry.
let's see. What are some other Landstar questions that I'm wondering about? Is there any requirement on how old the truck is?
No. As far as I can, from what I've been told, as long as the truck is DOT compliant.
Okay.
Oh, and can run on E-Log.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has to be.
When did they switch over from paper log to E-Log? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, but it must be way before.
Yeah. It has to be because they have to have an E-Log compliant truck.
Okay.
But other than that, there's no limit on the age.
So speaking of E-Logs, right? Because we know the mandate. How that you're running under E-Logs? Do you find yourself? Like literally like 50 miles out, like not being able to deliver? Do you find yourself in I would say the ugly of ELD, or is it working out for you?
For me, it's working out because since I've been in trucking, I've been on E-Logs. I mean, the only time I recall,
he's losing stream. Yeah, if for some reason we got bad service.
Yeah. We're up in Valparaiso, Indiana or Illinois or whatever you want to call it. But ever since I've been in trucking, I've been on some form of E-Log. Back in 2008, we at BCO we had the PeopleNet. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's an older E-Log system. Okay. The only time I recall ever doing paper log, I've been used to it. I can see the benefits of running paper logs, especially for those guys that have been in trucking for years and learning how to maneuver around the system to make more money. But honestly, if you manage your time effectively, if you drive when you're supposed to drive, keep your brakes to 30, 10, 8, or however you do your brakes, and you don't get hung up too much as shippers and receivers, you can still make decent money.
You can still make decent money. Okay.
The only thing I would change about the E-Log system, and I wish these regulators in Washington would get this, is that 14-hour clock. Because unlike the 11, the 8, the 11, and the 70-hour clock, they don't stop when you. It forces a driver to have to drive when he's tired in order to get his productivity done.
Yep.
If we had the power to stop that 14-hour clock when we went off duty, we could get the rest that we need, be safe on the road, and still be productive. And that's what they don't get. So if they change that one issue, E-Logs will be a lot better. It'll go over a lot better. As long as you can still do your work within a 24-hour period, not going over that, it will be fine.
Okay. So you're driving a truck that you got through Schneider.
Yeah, Schneider Finance.
Schneider Finance. Okay.
Oh boy.
Let's talk. So it started somewhere, right?
Yeah, we all got to get started somewhere.
Even we got to take the.
It's the worst.
So it's not the worst lease.
I wouldn't say it's the worst lease.
Okay.
It's a lease. Put it that way. Okay. It's always going to be to the benefit of the bank, in this case, Schneider Finance.
Okay.
However,
Did you have to have any credit or anything like this when you applied to these guys?
Okay, good question. Well, since at the time that I got my truck through Schneider Finance, I was a company driver. I was able to join the IC Choice program as a driver to company IC Transfer. So I had one leg up already because at that point I had been driving for Schneider for almost a year. They had a good idea of how I drove, and they basically knew me more as an individual.
Okay.
I wasn't coming from the outside in.
Right. And see, a lot of companies require actually some time driving for them before they get a truck for you.
A truck. Yeah.
They just like, well, just give me a truck right now.
Yeah.
Like,
but in terms of the credit, because it's in-house financing, as it's their own company, they do what I like to refer to as a soft credit check. So basically, they're checking to see that you are who you say you are, that you're not in like extreme debt. I would say
anything collections.
Yeah, collections. They don't want to see any like recent judgments and
gotcha.
and stuff like that. But it's not a hard inquiry that you would get on a credit report.
Okay. All right. Anything else you like to say to the subscribers, anything like that?
Oh man, thank you all you guys for your support. You know, this last months has been, you know, up and down, a little turbulent. Guys that, you know, subscribe to my channel, like, share, and videos.
Subscribe to Terry the Teddy Bear Trucker, right? That's how you Google it?
Find me on Terry Rushing on YouTube.
Terry Rushing, okay.
But thanks to all you guys for your support, and, you know, I really appreciate it. All the comments and advice you guys have given me has really helped me to grow and progress, and hopefully will continue to do so.
Okay. So from hit the like button if you're watching this video, and subscribe.
Yes.
And this is from another veteran in trucking. You know, we're both veterans. So like if a veteran's watching this, there's plenty of money to be made in trucking, and you guys have our contact information. So
yes, sir. So as I always say on my channel, once again, your boy Terry the Teddy Bear Trucker signing off.